Do you have PCOS, and not only do you want to get pregnant, but do you also want to feel healthy? If that's you, then welcome to the PCOS Fertility Health Podcast. Hi, I'm Dr. Angela Potter, an integrative PCOS fertility specialist, and I'm here to share with you the tools that you need to help your body get prepped for baby. Let's go. In the last episode, you learned about the root cause and you found out what it means to find out the root cause of your fertility struggles. I compared that to finding a crack in the wall on your house. That crack, it probably doesn't need paint because the paint is not going to fix it. The more times that you add paint, it's not going to actually take care of the crack. Potentially, there is something happening in the foundation of the house that's far away from the actual crack that needs to be addressed. Maybe the dirt under your house is moving, the foundation is not steady, which is causing the crack in the wall of your upstairs hallway. The more times you add paint, you're not actually figuring out the cause. The root cause is actually addressing the foundation and what is that underlying reason of why the crack is actually there. And that's like your fertility as well. Going on medicated cycle after medicated cycle, if those aren't working for you, those are not addressing the underlying root cause. So today's episode is all about the why. Why take that extra step to get to the root cause of your fertility struggles? Now, if you'll also remember in the last episode, I shared with you a testimonial from somebody. And I'm going to read it again here because I'm going to use her story to share with you this bigger why of what's going on and how important finding the root cause was for this person and how it can be so important for you. So these are the words that she wrote. She says, Dr. Potter has been a miracle worker for me and my hormone imbalance that I have struggled with for over 20 years. She is so knowledgeable, kind, and listens to every concern. After 7 years of trying to conceive, I am pregnant. She has helped my body heal and return to the way it was designed to function. I can't recommend her enough. This person, she had been struggling with hormone imbalance for 20 years. Before coming to see me, she had been working with other doctors for 7 years. Talk about heartache and frustration. That is a long time. And what was happening is that she was just getting that surface level care. She was working with doctors who were like, oh, here's another coat of paint, right? Oh, you've got a crack on your wall. Let's just put another coat of paint on it. Oh, the crack came back after a few weeks. Well, it means another coat of paint. Let's try a different color this time. Let's see if the color changes and if that helps. She was trying supplements that were well researched to support fertility. She was eating in a really healthy way, but nothing was changing with her cycles. She was still having irregular cycles. She had never had a positive ovulation test in those 7 years of trying. So what did I do for her when she started working with me? I helped her find the root cause of her fertility struggles. And once I was able to pinpoint that, I was able to get her on a plan that addressed what her root cause was. And guess what? The interesting thing about the root cause for fertility and PCOS is that it could be a variety of things in the body. And when you're working with a doctor who is hyper focused on the ovaries and your reproductive hormones, that's completely missing the bigger picture. Yes, of course, your ovaries and your reproductive hormones, those are important things to focus on when you are trying to get pregnant and when you're having fertility issues. But when your doctor is only focused on your ovaries and those couple of hormones, and you're still having irregular cycles, and you haven't had any positive ovulation tests, and you're not pregnant yet, that's because the root cause of your fertility struggles is coming from somewhere else. Symptoms in the body might seem completely unrelated to fertility, like bloating, like stress, like headaches, like skin issues, like rashes or itching. Those things could seem completely unrelated to fertility. But guess what? Those are the important things to be paying attention to. This is what I am an expert at. I am asking everyone who works with me all these questions about every system in the body. In fact, almost every single time we meet, and I would do the same thing for you. I'm asking about your sleep, your head, your digestion, your energy, mood. All of these things are so important for me to understand this bigger picture of what's contributing to your fertility struggles. That helps me get to the root cause because guess what? Your root cause could be a completely different system in your body that has nothing to do with your reproductive tract at first glance. But your body is a system and it's working together. All your hormones are working together. All your different organs, they're talking to each other, maybe in indirect ways. As a PCOS expert, I can put these pieces together. And so that testimonial that I shared, this woman who had had a hormonal imbalance for 20 years and had been trying to get pregnant for 7 years. What I did is I used the symptoms that she was telling me were happening in her body, and I paired that with her labs. And one lab that I ran for her was cortisol, her stress hormone. And, stress it's a tricky topic in the fertility world because there's a lot of people out there who are giving fertility advice like, oh, you're stressed. Just go meditate a little bit more, find some extra breathing space, and everything will open up for you. That's not what I'm talking about here. What I'm talking about here is years of stress where your body, your adrenal glands specifically, are taxed. And those glands are just shooting out cortisol at all times of the day. And you are just on this chronic stress. Did you know that we can actually test for that? It's so cool. And so with this person, I tested her cortisol. She shared this publicly, so I'm not sharing any private information here. But we tested her cortisol and it was through the roof. And she was surprised on 2 counts. One, that it was so high, and 2, that no other doctor had run this test for her or put together this piece for her fertility. I was able to identify that for her and get her on a plan to reduce her cortisol. There are ways to support the body so that the adrenal glands can then release that cortisol in a very rhythmic way and reduce those levels of cortisol. So I got her on that plan. I optimized her supplements that she had been taking. And within 4 months, she had her first positive ovulation test. And it was on that cycle that she was able to get pregnant naturally. So do you see how there are these other systems in the body that can impact fertility? And you don't want to let these go just completely undiagnosed and forgotten, because that could very well be the missing link for you. And it doesn't, from first glance, look like it has anything to do with fertility. And here you are, you've been trying to get pregnant for the past few years. You've been on supplements, you've tried different diets. Well, guess what? Those supplements that you're taking, they are not the root cause of your fertility struggles. They might be really important, maybe, but they aren't getting to that root cause. The diet you tried, it was not getting to the root cause of why you aren't pregnant yet. You've been on multiple medicated cycles and they didn't work. They were not the root cause of what your body needs in order to get pregnant. You've tried birth control for irregular periods and you got off of that birth control and your periods are still all over the place, and yet your doctor's telling you that everything's fine. That birth control was not the root cause for what's creating the irregular periods for you. So that is why it's key to figure out what that root cause is. Because yes, it is possible to get to a place where you're having regular cycles, you're getting positive ovulation tests, and you're able to get pregnant naturally. I see this in my practice. And what you need is to figure out that root cause. So today you learned about that big reason why it's so important to figure out the root cause of your fertility struggles. You learned from that testimonial that I shared about this person who we had to find the root cause of her fertility struggles. And after she had been trying to get pregnant for 7 years, When she started working with me and I helped her identify the root cause of her fertility struggles, she was able to get pregnant naturally after 4 months. And you learned as a PCOS expert that I am here for you when you're ready. It is possible to get regular periods and to ovulate on your own when you have PCOS. I see this all the time in my practice, and women with PCOS are getting pregnant every single day, and you could very well be next. Hold on to that as you go forward today. If you want to support this podcast, you can leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or simply share this episode with your friends. And as a reminder, the information on this podcast is just that. It's information, and it should not replace the medical advice that you are currently getting from your doctor. Thanks so much for being here.